Feeling the vibes with originalhits.com.
It's your boy Stalin, baby. Oh yeah, oh my God, oh. No, oh. Baby girl, what you want, baby girl, I'ma give you love. Oh, I'ma give you love.
Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You are here again on the Liberian Radio and Television Network. My name is Derek Yale, and I'm bringing you episode 11, season 3 of the High Zone. As always, guys, I would like to encourage you to please follow the network. The network to follow is the Liberian Radio and Television Network, or LRTN for short. So follow that network. Follow this network on Facebook and also on YouTube. And as always, I'd like to encourage you to please share the program on your individual social media pages. That is Facebook, Instagram, or whatever you may be on. And here on the High Zone, here there's no gimmick, no fluff, just real talk. And we feature a team of panelists from different political institutions, different political persuasion that bring you discussion and analysis on national issues in Liberia and the diaspora. And by way of disclaimer, the opinions and position offered here is not that of the network, but that of the individual panelists that will be offering them. And as always, the format for the show will bring you the current events we have in our current event folder. And then we will get into the discussion on the current event, and then we will bring you our discussions for the night. So let me bring you just that, beginning with the diaspora. The son of the president, Timothy Weah, and the U.S. men's national team. Let me put this development up. Timothy Weah, the son of President Weah, and the U.S. men's national soccer team wins second straight CONCACAF Nations League title with a 2-0 victory over Canada. So President Weah's son, Timothy Weah, won another trophy with the U.S. men's national soccer team last week. That is June 18 in Las Vegas. And it's also important to note that the president, Timothy Weah, did start that match, and he played a good amount of time for the U.S. men's national team. That's what we have for you in the diaspora. Moving on to Liberia. Just last week, the Minister of Finance and Samuel Twe and Eugene Dambwe from Maritime invade the Senate chambers. So we have that development for you, reading it from the Independent Probe Liberia. So it has here the normal proceeding of the Liberian Senate on Thursday were abruptly interrupted when Finance Minister Samuel Twe and Liberian Maritime Commissioner Lane Eugene Dambwe made an unexpected appearance during the Senate deliberation. So for more on that development, you can find out on the Independent Probe website. And also last week, CDC announces the primary committee, and that was done in the press conference at the party headquarters. And this is the first show after the Father's Day holiday. So I would like to, on behalf of the network and myself, I would like to extend a happy belated Father's Day to all of the deserving fathers out there. So moving on to our current event coming out of Liberia. The next current event we have here, before I introduce that, let me read this current event coming from the Liberia's People's Party, and that is the party of Councillor Tiawan Gonglo. They has put out their official picture for their candidate, the Councillor Tiawan Gonglo, that will be sent to the National Elections Commissions. And I will just read it as they have it here. We are pleased to inform all partisans that finally this is the approved picture, and that picture will have it on as you watch the show. This is the approved picture for all publications bearing the image of the standard bearer. All pictures used in the past had to be changed to this one. Henceforth, you are all advised to use this picture in all future publications by every group supporting the Liberian People's Party standard bearer. Thanks for I'm sorry, it should have ended there. So that is the picture that will be sent to the National Elections Commission of the standard bearer of the Liberian People Party. So before I introduce our topic for the current event discussion. Let me now welcome our panelists for this episode tonight. And I'd like to have our panelists on the screen, beginning with you, Mr. J. Mawolo. Welcome to episode 11, season 3 of the Horizon.
Thank you, and thank you for the program tonight, and thanks to our viewers for tuning in and watching and listening. To Mr. Jawikin and to you, Derek, and the management in the back. We say happy belated Father's Day, and let's have a good show. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's do just that. Now let me come to you, Mr. Jawikin Weir. Welcome to yet another episode.
Okay, thank you, Derek. Thank you, Mr. Mauro, for always being around to fill in. Fellow Liberians, at least election is around the corner. We are here tonight to talk about Liberia. We wish you to share the show wherever you are. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And yeah, those of you watching us, let me use this time now to officially welcome you to the Horizon tonight, episode 11, season 3. You've heard from our panelists. So share the program, share and follow the network and share the program. So guys, tonight our current event discussion is one that has to do with the former Chief Justice, Gloria Musu Scott, the incident involving her. So as you already do know, she spent a night in jail on murder and criminal conspiracy charges. So you have more information on that development. So let's for us to have a roundtable discussion. And let me start with you on this one, Mr. Jawikin Weir. Talk to us about everything surrounding the former Chief Justice Gloria Musu Scott and her relatives. Give us your take on it.
Okay, thank you. I briefly watched reporter in Liberia, David Tower, from the Temple of Justice this morning, and see him talking to some of the lawyers. But what I have to say about this case is the only thing that I heard from one of the lawyers for her reportedly was that the former Chief Justice was held in a cell where they were all males. I don't know whether that was true or not, but if that is true, then of course it was a bad thing. And according to the lawyer, she said one of the reasons why they filed a prohibition to have her free on bail because it was very terrible that she, as a female, was held in the custody of all males. So I think we need to do better in Liberia. I think whenever you are accused of anything, you are innocent until you are adjudged guilty. Especially so looking at the road of the former Chief Justice, she was also a justice minister and senator for a county as well. So she should be respected no matter what is the situation. Let the law plays out, and people should not use their position to really abuse the rule of law in Liberia.
Thank you. Let me stay with you before I come to you, Mr. J. Mawolo, because there has been a lot of information around this incident. The picture coming out of this is really disturbing. Mr. Weir, is there, from what you know of this story, is there a reason why? Does the government have a reason for holding her in custody and having her spend a night in prison? And also, what is the image this is giving for our judicial system in Liberia?
Okay, to begin with, the image I think it is very sad, and according to what government is alleging, she was trying to incriminate the government after allegedly killing her own stepdaughter. As we all recall, that happened, and people were arrested and released, and the probe has been going on. Now they came up yesterday and came with the announcement that she was charged with that and were taken to the police station. But all I can say in this case, I don't want to be judgmental. I don't want to take a side in this story. No matter what is the situation, regardless of what really happened, I think they shouldn't have, if the spirit of putting her in the male cell is true, that would be very bad. That is very bad for our country. I think people should be respected no matter what is the situation in this particular case. So, particularly in your case, I know some people are saying, well, she was trying to incriminate the government having being involved herself into that is also allegation. Nobody has
But
conclusive
what
proof.
basis? What basis do they have for that allegation, though? Like, how was she trying to incriminate the government? But let me
Well,
not hold you for too long. I will
yeah,
circle
yeah,
back
yeah.
to you because it's just two of
Because
us
she,
on this panel.
after that happened, she called and
Mhm.
somebody testified and named some people. I think one how they call it the human rights lawyer that based in the United States accused
Kieran
the
Verdier?
government, Jerome
Mhm.
Verdier. So based on that, they felt that Jerome Verdier is in cahoots with her, and they were trying to incriminate the government. But my point here is that whatever evidence the government has, she is in court. They should allow the rule of law to play out.
Thank you. But let me take Mr. Mawolo thoughts on this, and then we will do a roundtable discussion. We'll do a continuous roundtable discussion on this. Mr. Mawolo, talk to us.
Look, listen, I don't know. This government is always playing catch up. They show their incompetence so clearly. I mean, they should be ashamed that they do the kind of things they do. This thing happened in February. It's June. And they're still coming to bring somebody to accuse somebody because they didn't even have a charge to put on her. I mean, this is a farce. Listen, people are trying to justify all kind of stuff. Oh, there was no forced entry. Oh, her fence was 12 feet high. But at the same time, the people say the neighbors came to and tried to pry her window open. So how did the neighbors get in the fence? How come if the girl was stabbed in her back 7 times, where was she laying on her face and somebody was stabbing her at night? Somebody went out of their mind. And if that happened, why didn't the police arrest people immediately to see if there were any bruises on their bodies to show some form of fight? I mean, the police just totally mishandled the whole thing. And sometimes it's emotional. I mean, it's intentional. Because when you see other cases that have been happening and seem to, they seem not to know what to do, like the Gifty Lama and the other guy case. The police had the people body in the car and had another police driving all the way to JFK. Really?
Hmm.
You drove the car with the dead bodies that supposed to be crime scene and drove it to JFK and left it there. You know, all of these kind of things make people suspicious. So what was the use of carrying the lady to the police station if they didn't have charge to put on her? How can they even justify the murder? They say, oh, there was no sign of forced entry. Suppose the person didn't enter forcefully. Or suppose the person slide the window open and enter and close it back. Does that mean that nobody entered? Then you look for the reasons why there could have been. Why would you stop a child that you raised from baby till the week they're supposed to graduate from college? Then you kill them. I mean, to kill human being, if that's your first time, there is no way you can be normal. Especially in that brutal. If somebody has shot the person, you say maybe it was a mistake. But to stop somebody 7 times, there's no way that person can be to themselves. And up to now, you haven't got any confession from anybody. That means the police is incompetent. So if you're incompetent that you can't even adjudge or investigate something properly, how do you put a charge? So you just on assumption on third-hand information, you say the person guilty? This is a joke. And that girl's death will go unpunished. It will be kicked under the carpet. And because they will not be able to persecute that lady on anything. Because I I don't want to be a prejudge, but when I look at the case from my from my standpoint, there's just so many holes on that case. You cannot prosecute anybody that I see you collecting the people, the girl's family that was in the house for stabbing her like that.
Mm.
I mean, I don't say it can't happen, but none of them
Yeah,
got a murderous record. So
yeah.
to
My
say
question.
it happened and you didn't arrest anybody that same day to go because what they do at that point, you got to undress the person to see on their whole body to make sure there was nothing, no fight or anything. No, you wait several months after. Man, please, these people are not serious.
Yeah, Mr. Maula, you're linking this to incompetence, but there are a couple of conspiracy theory out there about this is intentional, or the government of Liberia is coming for the form of chief justice. What do you
But
make of those conspiracy theory?
I
This
can,
is this is not this is not incompetent. This is intentional.
well, they're incompetent, but they're wicked also. I mean, look at the other death. Look at Gifty Lama. What did the president say? They were having sex in the car, right? Yesua jumped from the balcony that nobody goes to. He jumped from there and busted head in a yard. You know, the other man he had accident, but colitis had chopping all over his body. The other auditor and how they got the ball. Adolf Lawrence, he ran under the truck, but they don't know who the truck for, and they can't find the driver. Look, listen, we're not stupid. Nobody's stupid here. They say in Liberia. Yes, incompetence is part of it, but wickedness is a serious part of it too.
Thank you. Then my last question before we wrap up on this, that will be to you, Mr. Jai Winkin. Now you mentioned about the suspect that Jerome Vardia. Before we talk about this, I think it was one Violent Taylor. Has the
Valley,
government
Valley,
done
Valley.
Valley Taylor? Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Has there been any investigation carried out on him? Was he held in police custody? And also one thing before you guys can close out on this, what about the women empowerment movement? Are they actively advocating or standing up for the former chief justice? Like, what do you guys make of that?
I
The,
think
what? Go ahead.
I think there are a lot of in Liberia. There's a lot of hearsay. They say, like the woman who spoke today, she was a lawyer, female lawyer,
Mhm.
who was one of those who was representing the former chief justice. So right now there's a lot of thought that are going around in Liberia. I don't know what would be Mr. Mauro said, what would be the main reason why you raise somebody after graduation then you kill them. I'm not talking on behalf of the chief justice, but what I'm looking at too is that this is political time, probably. Mr. Weir and his government want to use this. Then at the same time, they will say they grant clemency to the former chief justice to show that he's a nice guy who loves Liberia, who is also about peace. It could be one of the ways for which they are bringing about the case right now. I'm speculating, but because President Weir gave clemency to the guy who won the election and was denied of a position in the how they call that county, Bapuru County, right?
Okay.
So the guy won the election. They say he took the man with the former of defense minister. How they call
Ronnie Samuka,
Local county.
Lofa County.
Local
Lufa
county.
Kante, Ronnie Samuka. Yeah.
At the running someone guy like he won when he was running, nobody said anything. But after he won, they denied him from sitting because they said he stole money. Then after that, then President we are granting clemency. That's the kind of Liberia we have. But what is about the chief justice is very serious here. If the government has a case, they should prove the case. Again, I'll repeat that I think it was not good if they report that she was held in all male cell. That was wrong. I think that is not good for our country.
Thank you. And Mr. Maula, just close out on this for us. You can. What is the message to the government of Liberia, to the women or the women empowerment
No,
movement in Liberia?
I think our civil society groups in Liberia are just astonishingly weak. They're just astonishingly weak. I mean, I'm amazed that the women groups, the women lawyer groups, are not more curious and more investigative about something like this. But then again, was she really participating with them before this thing happened to her? Listen, you see, the problem with our people, most of them who hold government position, they got no clout, they got no connections, they got no substance. They, they, they get popular in Liberia by the street people. But when they say seriously involved with associations, groups that they're professional groups and things, they don't. So when you got something like this, you see what happened to Cummings. When these people were bent on putting him down, what he did, he went international straight. And they ran like roaches. Now, if this woman who has held so many top positions in the government, Minister of Justice, Chief Justice, Judge, Senator, Election Commission Chairman, and this woman got no clout but some local lawyers for them to accuse her of this thing. I told some of her people, I said, if this woman don't stand strong, they will jail her and disgrace her and put her down for this thing, because these people, all they after is to shame the people who people respect, because they want to have somebody to compare themselves to. I don't know why the different civil society groups are now being agitated like they did for the deaths of these people we just named. And they're just there. So I don't even know what they call them civil society groups. Even the council of churches and the religious council, none of them, all of them don't work with them. And I think they're useless.
Thank you very much, Mr. J. Mawolo. We have exhausted all of the time for this segment. And so we'll take a very brief break. When we come back, we will get right into our discussion for tonight. And just to set the format, and those of you that are watching us, tonight we do not have a central topic, so we will be discussing burning national issues. So we will take the perspectives of the panelists. Whatever it is you guys have on your mind, that's what we're going to talk about, because it's election is fast approaching, and is sort of campaign vibe going on right now. So if you're watching us, this is the Hard Zone. My name is Derek Yale, and I will see you right after the break. Thank you. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're here again on the Hard Zone. We're bringing you a fresh episode 11, season 3, and tonight we will be having an open discussion on national issues in Liberia. So I'd like to have my panelists back on the screen, and then we will have our open discussion. So it's just talking about everything and anything that interests you in the political space in Liberia. And so this is your opportunity to sell your thoughts, your whoever you support, or whatever news that has caught your attention this week or since the last episode. So we will have that discussion. So those of you watching us, please do us a favor by sharing the program on Facebook, and that is the LR Liberia Radio and Television Network, or LRTN Live for short. So I'll give you guys the opportunity now, what's on your mind, let me call it like that. Mr. J. Mawolo, let me start with you. What's on your mind as far as national issues is
Well,
concerned in Liberia?
what's on my mind is the continued ascension of the CPP into the national discourse. You know, just a few months ago, people were saying, "Oh, we don't see the CPP. They're not doing this. They're not doing that." And I kept saying on this show, I said, "We're doing our work, and you will see it." As we have seen from Bassa to the southeast to Banga, the CPP has been escalating and changing the name of the game every time. And every time they went somewhere, they shook tables. I mean, Cummings went into Grand Cru, and the crowds were there waiting for him. I mean, look, hard work pays off. It does pay off. Cummings always tell us we will win, but we got to do the work. The only way we won't win if we don't do the work. And this man has been consistently working since 2017. After the election, he never left. He remained in Liberia. He kept on engaging the people over and over and over again. Yes, it's expensive. Very, very, very expensive. But he did it because he got a mission. He wants to do something for his country before he dies. And he's fighting for it. So it will be up to Liberian people to make a choice. But I can guarantee them, you got one good choice, and that's coming. When you're talking about capability and ability, that's the person who has it. So, I mean, I'm just happy for the growth and the progress of the CPP. And this weekend he's going to be in Michigan. Next weekend he's going to be in Philadelphia for different programs of the different groups, and then he's going to be back in Liberia to continue the work. And we're going to keep on supporting. We're going to keep on trying to engage our people. We're going to keep on telling our people what it is that they have to gain. And hopefully our people here. But from what we can see so far, they're listening. And I can guarantee you there's a bunch of silent voters who don't call radio stations and who don't put their names on the screen when they're watching. But there are millions and millions of Liberians who are watching quietly and they're ready to vote for a change. And I think Cummings is that change, and the CPP with Charlene. I mean, Charlene is another one we can just be proud of. You couldn't the first choice of a president, the first decision of a president to be is choosing his vice running mate. And when you look at the whole group, Cummings have made the best choice ever. As we can see, since he chose her, the momentum have consistently grown. We can't say the same of the other people because up to now they haven't even been able to reach to the county. So we keep on doing the work. We'll keep on working hard. We'll keep on engaging our people, and hopefully it pays off in October 10th.
Thank you, Mr. Man. Thank you, Mr. Mawolo. Now, first of all, just how many parties are there in the CPP right now?
Two.
And that is the ANC and the Liberty Party. Yeah. I ask you that question because I agree with most of what you said, especially on CPP emergence in the national discourse. A lot of people are talking about it, but there is this trend that is kind of bothering to me. It's disturbing to me. Is about people not distinguishing between the CPP and the ANC. For example, when I'll ask you the question. Let me finish. When CPP were together with the Unity Party, the Liberty Party, the Canada US Party, and the ANC, people refer to the CPP as CPP regularly. That wasn't really an issue. But now with CPP having just the ANC and the Liberty Party, very frequently people call CPP activity ANC. I listened to your VSB this morning. She even had to correct the journalist to say CPP instead of ANC. Why is that now becoming a problem? Like, because I have seen a lot of supporters of the CPP correcting people and very frequently to say CPP instead of ANC. Why is that happening now?
Both are intentional. You see, propaganda is like slow poison. People, the propagandists feed it slowly into the veins of the public, right? Unity Party have made a concerted effort to keep on saying ANC, so that people are misled, because the fact that they know the CPP was the most popular group and they left. So for them, they wanted it to break apart. You will notice that when they left the CPP, they started to carry a rumor around that the CPP was dead. I personally resisted that and I fought it back. And then my whole team joined together with us and started fighting back. That CPP was not there. It was well and alive, but two parties left, but it remained. And so they couldn't change that narrative. Now that it's getting closer to election, they want people to think it's ANC, because they got two plans. The people going to go to the ballot booth. They're playing on the ignorance of most of our people, right? They're going to go to the ballot booth looking for ANC. If they don't see it, they say, oh, but I see ANC there. So then they just write something else. They got another plan that will unearth it. They're going to go to in the neighborhoods and pretend to be ANC people and saying that ANC is on the ballot and no CPP, and you see CPP there, they're not ANC. We unearthed that. So it's concerted that we keep on reminding people that it is CPP. Alexander Cummings is the standard bearer of the CPP. Charlene Bromsky is the vice standard bearer. There will be no ANC on the ballot. And we'll continuously say it, that they will not be able to fool our people, because that's the plan B they got, to go in neighborhood like they did when the entire suffering rally was on. They went into neighborhoods and said the rally was canceled. And it was CDC and UP doing it. And to discourage most people from going there. So yes, it's a psychological fight that we're on to with them. They want people to remember it's ANC, and we telling people that it hasn't changed. CPP is the one that's on the ballot.
Thank you, Mr. Jim Maolo. Now let me come to you, Mr. Jai Winkin, where you can partake in this conversation on what's on Mr. Maolo's mind as far as the CPP growth, the CPP emergence into the national discourse, and you too can tell us what's on your mind as far as the national discourse or the national issues in Liberia is concerned. Mr. Weir.
Thank you, Derek. As I think about Liberia, first, beginning with the name Liberia. Liberia was a country designated as a home for free slaves from America. The reason was that Black in America were enslaved that were taken from all over the continent of Africa. After the Emancipation Proclamation, the idea came that Black that were free, that were willing to go back home, back to Africa. So that's how the name became Liberia, which means freedom, liberty. To remind Liberians about that name, not to repeat the same mistakes that Black suffer as slaves in the United States. It became the love for liberty brothers here. That phrase never meant whether first group of people were in Liberia first or the other people came last. But the meaning was that all those who love freedom, liberty, no matter of your religion, no matter of where you came from. That piece of land that was designated was a place for you. Equality, equal empowerment opportunities, education, invention, equal, and a lot of things. The question we should ask ourselves, are we living in Liberia in line with that founding purpose? That we are a free country? Are you really free if you cannot afford to buy food? Are you really freed if you cannot afford to send your children to school? No drinking water, no electricity, no communication, no road. Those are basic things for human lives. Even though we claim to be a country that came out of the most developed country in the world, America. Why haven't we achieved that purpose of being developed? We were supposed to be an example whether black were capable to rule themselves. But in the end, we are almost the least developed country in Africa, instead of being the one that people should look up to, instead of being the one for people to come to learn from us. But we are still praying to God to come from heaven to develop our country. Even though God gave us the opportunity that we are a free nation, we have resources, less population. God will not manage these things. Whenever one is in power, he or she sees himself of being above the law. People worship them. When the president coming from out of the country, the cabinet ministers, directors, everybody go meeting. That is not the purpose of Liberia. If you cannot afford school fees, that is not freedom. If you don't get food to eat, that is not freedom. If you can't go to hospital, that is not freedom. If you don't get a place to live, that is not freedom. So why is it we haven't achieved the purpose? I will tell you briefly the reason why. We refused to just follow rule of law in Liberia. We refuse to learn from our past mistakes. People ask you what John Brown didn't do from J. Robert time, what J. Robert, you will not change Liberia. God will not come from heaven unless all Liberians realize that Liberia is for all Liberians. And the only way to change things to happen in Liberia better for everybody is to respect the rule of law. Rule of law, whether you are president, vice president, minister, no matter of your position, everybody should be treated the same way. That is the only way we will achieve the dream of free country. In this election, there is only one guy. He's here already. But it just left with you as a Liberian, especially those who are eligible and registered to vote, is to confirm that person for Liberia to truly gain the purpose of being a free country. The person who understands that individual is a poor man, is a broke man, he's not popular, he doesn't have the money. Those who have money never change your life. Giving you money will never change your life. You need to make your own money. So rule of law is the beginning of developing Liberia, and the only person who can guarantee that is Tiawan Se Gonglo. I ask all of you, if you think about somebody to vote for, he is a blue man. He has proven it. He refused money. He resigned as a labor minister. He refused a lot of money. He sacrificed for Liberia. He was detained for freedom for Liberia. He was beaten. Ekmo have the same thing during the war. His own people from Nimba went against him for standing for the right of poor people, for Liberia, for rule of law. So I say, vote Gonglo for better Liberia. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ja Winkin Weir. I must say that I love what you just did. I love how you brought us right to telling us to pretty much select Councilor Gongo as the man that will help that will free us finally, because from your deliverable you said that we are not free. The love of liberty brought us here.
Can I ask
We are
Mr.
not.
Jao Wikin something?
I will come to you. I will come to you. Let me ask him first. So my question, I have two questions for you, and then I will allow Mr. Maolo come in with his question. One, it's almost like a norm in Liberia for people to not respect the rule of laws. It's almost like it's psychological at some point in time, and it's impractical. People don't like doing the right things in Liberia. What differently is Councilor Gonglo going to do to get people automatically to start respecting the rule of law? That is my first question. Now, when we listen to Mr. Mawolo, he was passionate or enthusiastic about the emergence of the CPP. Is that something that worries you? Does it scare you to see CPP like taking center stage of national discourse? Does that scare your campaign for Councilor Conclo? So those are my two questions to you, and then I will let Mr. Mawolo come in.
Not at all. The Gonglo campaign recognizes that we don't have the resources like the other candidates. But we believe in the Liberian people. We don't have vehicles, but we're buying motorbikes for communities. We are going door to door. In our districts, we provide motorbikes for people to go door to door. So we don't put in crowds. But the key thing is that we want for all Liberians who truly love Liberia, no amount of money that someone will give you will make you truly independent. You need to earn your own money. You need the opportunity. And the way Gonglo will make that to happen, he's going to serve as an example. For example, the lifestyle audit that he talks about all the time.
Yeah, before you get into that, I'm sorry for interrupting you. Are you like insinuating that because you mentioned lack of resources and the constituents should not pay attention to the money being given to them? Are you here insinuating that the opposition or CPP that have the resources is actually giving out money to voters?
Yes.
Is that what you're insinuating?
All the three political parties that are in the league, like we are CPP and the rest of the people, like the former vice president party, they got more money compared to the Gonglo campaign. That is a fact. We do not deny that. Because we recognize that. So in Liberia, there are 134 administrative districts. So what we did is to empower people in these districts to take ownership that the government is for you. Anybody who come to power, the government's supposed to be for you. You're supposed to have a voice. We want them to have a voice at the table. We want Mr. Gonglo to be a man who is a servant in chief, who listens to the people, who will allow people to have voice at the table.
Okay. Mr. Weir, I'm sorry. Let me allow Mr. Mawolo to come in with his comment, and then I know you have a question for Mr. Weir. Go ahead, Mr. Mawolo.
Jao Wikin,
Yes, sir.
you got children?
I do.
Are they older or young children?
They are older now because my son is the younger one is 19 now.
The youngest one?
Mm-hmm. I got two children anyway.
Okay.
One girl and one boy.
And the youngest one is 19.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 10 years ago, could you allow those children to run your home?
Run my home?
Yeah.
No.
I would strongly suggest you stop answering the questions. He's setting you up.
No, not a problem. I'm ready for that. I'm ready for that. No.
No, you couldn't allow them to run your home.
No.
Is it because you're a detector
No, not because I was a
or the
detective.
irresponsible? Which one?
Because I had to prepare them to be ready.
Exactly. So when you say they're on the table, who are on the table?
So here is it. The problem with making Liberia is, like for instance, I was listening to Weir the other day, building sport complexes or other places around the place without asking the people what they need.
Is he building sport complexes?
That's why he said, I think in Clarendon where he lived before, something like that. He said you were talking to the ghost that like he built this because he saw that somewhere. You can't just see something somewhere and post it on the people. The people
Okay.
in Liberia, every county, every district, every community has, everybody have their own needs. So if you want to do anything, get their views. What do they want? And
But
how they wish to achieve
is
it.
that the president's job, or is supposed to be the mayor and the superintendent of the county's job?
The president should create the structure. I'm talking about the building of the structure here.
Mr.
Oh,
Maolo,
The
yeah,
president,
yeah.
the president,
Let me
it
ask
is
Mr.
my
wrong.
last question.
It is
Yeah,
wrong in
go ahead.
Liberia.
Be,
Oh, sorry. It is wrong in
be,
Liberia the way we do it. Like the president goes in the community. I give you $10,000. I give you $20. Money from where? The money is not for the president. The money is for the country. So if there is some money somewhere, the people should decide how the money has to be used. Not only that, there should be a structure in place that the money will particularly be used for that purpose in terms of development. Like for under Gonglo, no representative or senator are going to spend money to do development. That is not their job. There should be a structure that will make sure that the money is properly spent and monitored.
all right.
Mr. Maolo,
So,
before you ask that question though, I just wanted to ask you based on what he's saying. You can answer that before you ask him. Now, you talk about your party emergence in the national discussion taking center stage. And Mr. Weir is saying that is because you have the resources more and more. You have more resources than him. That's why you're taking that center stage instead of him. Do you agree with that? And you can ask him your question.
that's his perception. What Mr. Wenke don't know is how much work we're doing in the different districts that he talking about. I think I said on this show, somebody was saying, well, CPP not doing anything, and this and that. And I said, we are working, but we're playing a different kind of politics than Liberia is used to. They used to the prom and pageantry, people passing around with a car with a picture on it and a this and that. We're not doing that. We're doing a different kind of politics. I think you remember. I keep on saying we make we're trying to make the Liberian people understand why they call it political science, because we're dealing with the science part, with the data, with the math side of it, and we got people going Jehovah Witness style, door to door. And so the results you see is the result of the door to door campaigning. It's not only money. Yes, you need money to upkeep the people when you're sending them all these places. Yes, but it doesn't require as much resources as people think. Because yeah, we have cut down costs seriously. Because the door to door campaign don't cost as much as just sending people around to drive all around the place. You know? So we're doing it differently now. And so yes, it costs some money. But there are two things I want to ask, and that question, uh, uh, Derek, you can help. Jawi can. Have you ever seen anywhere in the world where a poor person, help poor people get out of poverty?
Yes.
Where?
Poverty is not.
No, I didn't say what poverty is. I said, have you
But
ever seen
it's a
a
poor
poor
people,
person
a poor person.
take people out of poverty?
So the thing is an idea. It's believe in yourself. Let me put it this way.
Well, before you answer that question, though, Councillor Gonglo, will he be considered a poor person in Liberia, Mr.
I
Weah?
want to pretend that he is, but that one asking him.
Councillor Gonglo.
Mm-hmm. Is he a poor person?
He is not poor to rely on somebody to support himself and his family.
Yeah. But he poor compared to what?
He doesn't have much resources to spread out.
So he's not, with the definition of the word poor, so he's not really
not poor.
So
okay,
good.
go ahead.
Gonglo is not a poor man.
All right.
But
so that why I ask you, have you seen a poor person take poor people out of poverty and where?
Gonglo is not a poor person. Let me go back. Then we're discussing Liberia. Right now, look at what's happening in this country, in Liberia specifically. Our legislative branch, no water in the building. The foreign ministries, most of the ministries, government agencies. Aside from the money aspect, how do we take these people seriously from the presidency? That our foreign ministry, the national legislature.
No, it's not you. It's not you that's supposed to take them seriously.
The Capitol building.
They are supposed to take themselves seriously.
There is no water system. If they cannot supply water,
Mr. Weah, you are going over the existing problems we have. From my perception, you're talking about your guy. I think Mr. Maula is asking you. Yeah. Why do you think this man is in the best position to solve this problem you're going over? Right. I'm going to hold you there. I'm going to hold you there, and I will take you right after the break because we have exhausted all of the time for this discussion. We'll take a brief break, and when I come back, I will come right back to you. So just hold your thought. But for now, let's take a very brief break.
Maintaining your vehicle can be a major investment. That's why here at Brothers Auto Care, we pride ourselves on providing professional and reliable auto care at affordable rates. Whether you need an inspection, new brakes, or diagnostic reports, our skillful and experienced mechanics are here for you every step of the way. Call Brothers Auto Care now to schedule your next auto maintenance and repair service. At Brothers Auto Care, we help you drive home with peace of mind.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for staying with us. You're here on the Liberian Radio and Television Network watching episode 11, season 3 of the High Zone. My name is Derek Yale. And tonight we have our panelists here with us is Mr. J. Mawolo and Mr. Jawinkin Weah. And we're talking about what's on their mind. Before we left, we were actually on you, Mr. Weah. So I will give you the opportunity to tell us now what you were thinking. But before that, let me encourage all of you to please share the program on your individual social media pages. And also remember to follow the network on Facebook and YouTube. That is the Liberian Radio and Television Network. Or you can see it on the other side. And then please leave us your contribution in the comment section. So Mr. Weah, let me take you and then we can continue our conversation from there.
Okay, I think there was a question you asked that I was supposed to. So I was talking about, you were asking, aside from rule of law, what President Gonglo would do.
Yes, and I think Mr. Mawolo took a stab at your guy. So I ask you a question as far as when it comes to respecting the rule of law.
Yes.
Is a norm in Liberia. So what is Councilor Gonglo going to do differently? So, and then I also ask you on the resources you mentioned. I think you already answered that. So let me give you time to answer what Gonglo going to go do differently to have Liberia automatically respecting the rule of law.
Number one, the first thing is that on day one of inauguration, you're going to pass the executive order that will empower the Liberian National Police to arrest anyone who violates the law of the country without fear or favor.
But you need to pass executive order for that? That is law. They're supposed to be able to do that.
Yeah, I know, but it is not being implemented because people are afraid. So what's going to happen is that under Gonglo, nobody's going to ask you that you know who I am. Yes, if anybody asks you that, you will tell them, yes, you know who they are. They are your servant. They work for you. Because the Liberian people hire you in line with Article 1 of the Constitution. It says, whenever you are hired in government from the presidency down, you are a servant. And your
Yes, my quick question on that, though, because we already have those laws in place. And we have the current police force. They are not carrying out those things. The implementation right now is the problem. Now, my question to you, are you going to replace those people that are not implementing the laws, or are you going to have them there and come up with a new strategy to get them to not implement the law as it should? Like, what is going to be your approach?
The executive order will be the one that will really emphasize that.
You don't need an executive order for a law that is already in place.
Yeah, there will be executive order for enforcement. That will be executive order that the law will really.
But the law already said to enforce.
Yes, it's
like Mr. Mawolo is saying, the law already stressed it out that you should enforce it. So it
is not being implemented because of what people will say. This is Liberia. You know who I am, and Gonglo is going to make it clear.
So I'm trying to understand this.
I'm trying to explain to you. You're going to make it clear.
Okay, go ahead.
You're going to tell the number one, the police force is going to be trained, and they will get resources that they need. They will be paid well.
How long are you talking about, sir?
The first thing I said on day one, the executive order will be passed. That no matter of
the
your
police
position,
were not trained. Then what are you talking about, sir?
In line with the executive order, there will be resources provided. They will be trained. But it will be in the minds of all Liberians, whether you are minister, senator, no matter who you are, that the police officer you see in the street will have the power to arrest you if you break the law.
I think it's already in the mind of Liberian, that particular
No, it is not. It is not, because we're in the habit of circumventing the laws in Liberia based on your position. We believe that if you are in power, you are above the law. Under Gonglo, that will not be the case. No matter of your position.
But then from what I'm hearing from you, it seems like you don't understand why you're voting for Gonglo.
No, I don't.
He can't waste executive order like that.
No.
Executive orders are supposed to be extraordinary things that you want to get done. It is
very important because what we have in Liberia is a joke. Even though
listen, you know why it's a joke? Because the people don't implementing. Listen, the only thing you can do, the law is already there. Even senators not supposed to call you when you arrest somebody. All right? So, you don't have to tell the police to arrest. You just tell them it's a new day. You will do your work according to the letter.
That's the point.
And nobody will intervene.
In Liberia, we hardly understand. It will be strange.
But when you make executive order that the people don't want to abide, what are you going to do?
Liberians believe that if you are in power, you are above the law.
Yeah, so I think
even Senator can come on and order your arrest in Liberia. That would not happen in
honestly,
Liberia.
I think it's a very important question Mr. Mawolo asked. He gave a suggestion on what you could do, but you're insisting on this executive order thing. So what if you pass the executive order and things still sit and stay the same? So what are you going to do?
No, things will be enforced. You see, like whenever the president speaks that the law needs to be enforced, those who are in power that usually violate the law, they will understand that the president says it. And he, Gongro himself, will set as an example. You're going to respect the law. Nobody is going to call the police when you are arrested. They say, I know John Brown, I'm going to call the police, this and that. You will be booked and the law will be enforced without fear or favor under Gongro. The same way it was under President William R. Guinea.
Okay,
Thank you. Go ahead.
Why are you going? Okay, go ahead, Derry.
No. I have a. You want to move? Or are you asking a question to move?
Okay, move on.
Yeah, all right. And let me stay with you, Mr. Jawinkin. We are now. We talk about the resources, and we talk about CPP taking center stage of our national discourse. Now, I want to ask you a question to compare those two candidates, Cummins and Tewon Gongro. Take away the resources factor, as far as competence and as far as experience. Who do you think is first or second? Cummins against your guy. So if the resources did not factor in, who do you think is more competent? Who do you think is best suited for this position? Who has more experience? Obviously, you support him, but I'm trying to get you to.
In practical terms, Gongro is. Gongro lived the life of the ordinary Liberian people. He was raised. He lived with people. He struggled. He sell. Carries on the head to sell, to do a lot of stuff. So Gonglo understand. It's about understanding.
So he can relate to the Liberian people more than
he can relate to the Liberian people more
than we are not relating.
I will come to you, Mr. Mawolo. I will give you the opportunity. I'll give you the opportunity. So Gonglo can relate to the Liberian people more than Cummins. So go ahead.
See the pain of the Liberian people, yes.
Okay. So that, I mean, you say in the more practical sense, Gonglo.
So in the practical sense, Gonglo knows what it means. Like if he came from school, he got nothing to eat.
So I think we'll pass that. He can relate to the Liberian people. That falls under that. So
yeah, I know it's on that, but the people who are listening need to understand it. Maybe when they relation, when they relate, they may not understand it.
Okay.
So
what about competence? We talk about a country where our education system is messed up, the security, healthcare system. When you look at those three areas, who is more competent to address the issues facing those areas between Gonglo and Cummins?
I would say Gonglo.
And at this point, I'll give it to you now, Mr. Mawolo, to come in.
Okay, then I will just follow. I say in which way?
Okay, in which way? Gonglo is more competent because, as I said, to be able to manage anything, you should understand that. You should have the experience. Learn from the struggling part of it or the building structure of it. And through Gonglo life, as a student leader at the University of Liberia, all of these struggles, he understands what Liberians have been going through from day one. They have been told one thing and everything is done. And that is why, as I said earlier, that's why Gonglo turned down. Gonglo is the only guy who went out of the country for 20 days. He spent 10 days and brought the banana money back.
I think when I listen to you, explaining this thing, it seems like you don't understand the gravity of the presidency. You're talking about, trivial things.
No, it's not trivial.
Listen, are you telling me that the criterion for being president is that you must have been poor?
No, it should be transparent.
Oh, okay,
It
fine.
should be
So are
transparent.
you
It should
telling
be
me?
accountable.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Okay, based on that, let's start our discussion at that point, because I don't want to hear nothing but he know how to throw low on his head or he know how to go to sleep hungry. That's not criterion to be president.
Okay, let me give you an example.
Uh-huh.
Before then, as president of the National Bar, Liberian National Bar, before then, in Liberia, they never talk about, there were no resources to run the association until
What?
he became the bar association, because people weren't paying their bills, for example. But when
Who
Gongo
were
took
not paying now? The bar association people?
members of the bar association,
They were not paying?
they were not paying.
Okay.
They weren't paying. So when Gongo took power, he made it in a way that even before you are accredited by the bar, you got to pay all your dues if you were owing.
So he made them to stop. He made them to stop paying bills.
Yes.
To stop paying their bills.
He stopped paying their due, and they started
Hey, they said they were not doing it. Why you were doing it then?
No, then you don't be accredited.
No, but they already had their accreditation.
Yeah, but you got to be member of the bar.
Yeah, and they said they were members. They said they're not paying. Then what?
They were not paying. So why he did was, when they did that, not only that, they started to build their headquarters for themselves.
Now let's stay on that bill, because since we're in the Gongo's camp, or did the members of the bar association started paying their dues because of the respect they have for Gongo, or was it a specific strategy that he employed at the time that forced them to pay their dues?
Yes, because of the respect, and
so it wasn't a strategy that he employed,
and because of trust or transparency that they realized that.
Okay, Gongo wins the election, and the people don't have trust in him, or they don't see him as transparent. So how does things work out? But the question I really wanted to ask you, though,
you see, trust can be built. You got to win the trust of Liberian people by doing.
Yeah, like I said, the question I really wanted to ask you, since we're in the Gongo's camp, because in my opinion, 3 cardinal problems Liberia face right now, in my opinion: education, healthcare system, and security. I don't see clearly how Gongo trust or Gongo transparency will help address the issue of healthcare system in Liberia. So my question to you, think about the Omain Sano County. Say we having issue here with hospital. No hospital in the county, or we do not have our no medicine for headache or whatever. What strategy or what plans does Gongo have in place to address, for example, the issue of the healthcare in Sano County or in Liberia? That's what I want. That's what I want to hear, because trust and transparency does not solve that problem.
On that Gongo, all pregnant women will go to government hospitals free. Everybody who is above 65 years old will be the same. It is true for them to they will get free
so
healthcare.
where are you getting that money from?
I'm coming right there. So this is where I earlier talked about the rule of law, transparency, and accountability. When people trust you, even before the international community help you, you got to show that you mean business. You got to show that you are transparent. As I said earlier,
we keep circling back to the trust and transparency. We trust him; he's transparent. Give us his strategy to help solve these problems.
Yeah, because the reason why people are not paying or people are not complying, people are stealing, is they don't trust. Because if you are here, if you do something wrong, someone will follow you to do the same thing. It's not that, even though we are not a rich country, but the major problem we have in Liberia is mismanagement of our resources. How can we control the management of the resources? For example, do we have children who are out of high school or who are in high school? Can the government fund something for them, for example, to teach in the communities, which Gonglo will do, to teach old folks to learn how to read and write and so many things. That is part of the education, at least to make more people to be able to read and write, aside from going to academic school. But can high school students be given something in the communities to teach old people, for example?
That we can. Right now, the country is in dire strait. All right. Nobody got anything. No money, no medication, nothing. What is Gonglo's plan to give a boost to the economy immediately?
Number one, Gonglo made a lot of trips abroad as well, which we cannot disclose because the international community
is still going to steal something? Why you can't disclose it?
And they say you can't disclose it.
The international community cannot deal with you when you are not in power. That's what I'm saying here. The international community cannot do when you are not in power.
So pretty much what you're saying.
What you can't disclose? I mean,
for example, the school district in California promised to provide educational material, including textbook, to the school system of Liberia.
The entire Liberia.
There's a group here that in my state, when he came in, that he met to help with the food production in Liberia with equipment and so many other things. But all of these things cannot be done when you are not in power. They can't be with somebody who is not in. Like for the police son that we're talking about.
Showing that when he Gonglo win, then they will do it. Suppose he win, they will not do it.
No, but somebody need to contact them, because if you contact any of these people, they want to know whether you are transparent. Because the problem we have in Liberia, the people don't trust the government in the country. They misuse the resources.
How they will know you transparent?
Because they will see it. You get timeline. You will get timeline. You will say, look, beginning tomorrow, I'm going to put water system in 2 weeks time in Nukuta, for example, and will cost this amount.
So in that instance, right? All these things you thought, none of those things they came from Liberia, right? They all coming from exterior, right?
No. Some will be from Liberia because we got resources.
Yeah, but the major thing then that you need to get a boost to the economy, they all came from outside Liberia, right?
No, we got resources in Liberia there. For example, the maritime.
Go ahead. I will let you conclude. I don't want to say.
Eating the money. There's a good money for ask anybody. The maritime corporation of Liberia is the second largest revenue generating organization in the whole world. What is that money? Do you know what is that money? You don't know. I don't know.
No, they got the second largest fleet carrying Liberian flag, but that don't mean that money.
No, it means something.
It means something. It means money, but not money like you're talking about to do all these things.
No, Google that. Yes, we make more money.
We make a couple of millions of dollars.
No, we make more money compared next to Panama.
No, but you see what I'm saying here, Jawiken, is that your idea, the idea is so small, it can't do much. Because for the need that Liberia had, the kind of thing you're talking about, that minuscule stuff, those things that somebody can put their hand in their pocket and do it.
Why they can't do it now?
Because they don't want to.
So the point is,
because they don't want to. What I'm saying is somebody wants to.
Why hasn't it been done?
What I'm saying that the vision is small, right? So if you want to aim, you aim for the sun, then you fall down on the moon, right? But if you aim for the sky, you fall down on the ground. What you're aiming for is the sky. Those things are so small.
No, here is the point.
Talking about, they said they will send posts to that, bro. What I'm asking you is that all these support you're talking about is externally, right? If you want to infuse this economy, is external, right? You got to go outside and get help, right?
Both.
Fine. It brings you back to the question that Derek asked you. If Cummings and Gonglo come into this country and ask the people for help, who you think they will listen to first?
It's relative. It depends
No,
on
I'm not talking about relative. Be practical, like you say you are. Who you think they will listen to?
Just about to use the word.
I haven't there with coming, so I don't know.
No, I'm
I
talking about
think you know.
you.
I
Eh?
think you know the
I
answer
say
to that
yeah.
question, Mr.
Eh?
Williams.
If Gongo were
You
coming
know,
in
you
here,
know, you know, you just use one of those strategy where you try to dodge the question where you know the answer.
no,
But go ahead and
no,
give me some Maolo.
no, Mauro. I haven't there with coming. I don't know the
I'm not
connection
talking
of
about
coming.
you. Don't deal with coming. I'm saying if he and Gonglo come to
The
the
only thing I know about
United
coming is
States,
you are the big guy, the Coca-Cola.
you
Does
know
it
what a
mean
Coca-Cola is? You ever try to find out what a Coca-Cola is?
I know Coca-Cola? Well, I don't know.
No, I'm
So
talking
what I
about,
mean, there are other major companies aside from that.
and the one?
There are other major companies aside from Coca-Cola.
No. I said, do you know the Coca-Cola that he was working with? Do you know which one it is?
No.
All right.
Is that important?
Yeah. Because
No,
you
it is not.
know to imagine the capacity of the person.
But
What I'm saying, you live in America, right?
I do.
Fine. What I'm saying, I say if Cummings and Gonglo come stand up in front of these people and say they're looking for help for Liberia, who you think they will listen to?
Who would think I would listen? I would say Gonglo.
I
Huh?
don't think that I don't think that is the question he's asking. The people that Gongo met, and correct me if I'm wrong, the very people that Gongo met outside of Liberia, if he and Cummins were to stand in front of those people asking for help for Liberia, who do you think those people would pick? Is that a question you're asking?
Exactly.
Yeah, but that's why I'm answering. It depends on your presentation.
All
It
right.
depends on your presentation.
Will it be fair for one to argue? Will it be fair for one to argue, and that is to you, Mr. Weir, that Gongo is running his campaign on let me try to solve this problem to or message, because he's had a career of transparency and trust, but from what it seems like and what you just said, he does not have a plan that will solve the problems Liberia face with nationwide. Well,
No,
like Mr. Mawolo said, that can be sufficient for maybe a district or two. But for
no.
the entire Liberia, I don't.
For the entire Liberia, I want you to look at. Let me put it this way: there is no nation that survived on its own, including the United States, which is the richest in the world.
Mhm.
The problem we have in Liberia, as I said, I'll repeat this. It's not the question of whether people are willing to help us or not. It's the question of people trusting the presidency and the leadership. The international community, including the United States, they don't get permanent friends. They have interests.
Let me ask. I don't want to stay in the Gonglos camp though. But let's say the help you're asking for outside, like is it transactional as to say these people that are giving things to Liberia, what are they benefiting at the end? So this is like a humanitarian stuff to Liberia, or are
No,
they benefiting? Are
the,
they
the,
benefiting anything?
the only
Because the
way
reason I ask that, our current lawmakers and senators are doing that anyways
it's
right now.
wrong. It's wrong. That's why it's wrong. That's what I'm saying. I will give you an example. Like for instance, like look at Ukraine today. I will give an example of the Ukraine war. When they started, when Russia invaded Ukraine.
Mhm.
You think that where it started?
Hold on. I just said like when Russia invaded Ukraine. I'm talking
Okay.
about the international community deal with you depends on what you do yourself first. That's where I'm coming from.
Mm.
They
Okay.
offer to give you ride. They said Russia was too big. You will not withstand Russia. And what did he do? He passed a law in the country, in Ukraine. All men 18 years old, you remain in Ukraine, you're going to fight. Then he told the West that he did not need a ride, he needed weapons to fight. The American government watching a bit, and they saw that the people of Ukraine were willing to fight and die for their country. When they saw that will, So I started pulling through. So the problem we have in Liberia, it's not the question of scarcity of resources much, or people are not willing to help the country, but there is no somebody with a vision that will give timelines of what they will do before
But that
any.
the vision we're asking you for, and you haven't been
But
able
that's what
to
I'm just
say.
telling him. The
What's the
vision.
vision he has? What the economic vision he has for this country? That's what we want to know.
That's what I'm just telling you. The vision, number one, begins with what they said you got to assess to see what the country needs.
But you're
And how you
supposed to
going
know
to
that before you have a vision. I want to know
no,
his vision.
because you will not know it outside. Or you will not know it
But he's
from
supposed to know
outside.
that by now.
He knows, but
Okay,
that is
then
not
what is his
accurate.
vision? That's what I want to know.
But I just told you. Well, how you
No,
going to
you
start?
tell me. I'm just trying to get it.
Mr. Weir, you didn't answer my question though. Those people you said that will be giving books back to Liberia if Gonglos becomes the president, do they benefit anything, or that's like a humanitarian or a donation to Liberia?
No,
Will it be benefiting anything?
they will not benefit. But that point meant I was talking about being transparent and winning the trust of people to help out. That's what I'm making reference to.
But South
Liberia,
Joseph kind did again bosses and
That's
did
that is
again.
the point. That is the point
Is
I'm
he
driving at.
transparent?
what the point I'm trying to make here is this: Liberia is the oldest country. Liberia has not developed. Liberia has not improved because of poor leadership. But we are not suffering from, not because people don't know Liberia. We are not suffering from, not because we can get resources. Unless they leave, there were a lot of resources, but the money was mismanaged. Let's say, for example. But the problem I have here, before you talk about a timeline or to mention really how well the person does, they have to get in power and tell you, for example, if Gonglo were announced to say, look, you know what, my first priority would be to make sure that the whole city of Monrovia get water. Every house in Monrovia get water.
To that point you're making, we tried that with George Weah, and look what we turned out, and look where we are. This is another opportunity.
Jawia has no experience. Jawia never give me timeline.
Because you're telling us before we can properly evaluate this person, let's get in the job first.
No.
And I think we heard.
That's why I argue. That's why I argue.
It's not what I'm saying though.
I
told you, number one, the first thing that Congress will do is there will be a rule of law. Because you put in place a structure, you got to build a structure first.
But you have to have a vision that you can explain clearly for people to not have all of those like what about this one? What about this one? That's what we're asking you here tonight.
Okay, I'm asking you now, Ja, we can answer the question for me because it is a plain, straight question, right? If we're talking about trust, we're talking about transparency. We're talking about administrative capabilities, right? If you put Taiwan Gonglo and Cummings in front of the world, in front of this Western world, who do you think they will trust the most to help?
That question is relative. I'll keep saying that.
Why? When you say it's relative, explain that.
It's relative because it depends on how you see it.
How do you see it?
The way I see it, I personally trust Gonglo.
I'm talking about you. I said in front of the world.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You say the world?
Yeah.
I can't speak
in
for the
front
world.
The American president, the French president, the British prime minister, the German prime minister. If you put Gonglo and Cummings in front of them, who you think they would choose?
I can't tell you Cummings because yeah is the problem. You are missing the point here.
No,
you are missing the point here. Because the question here is that
no point. I asked you to give me the point. So I missed no point yet.
But here is the point. You are missing the point. Because the point here is that the problem we have in Liberia is not because of how long you have been doing this, but it's a question of You trust it. Let's say I use the example of Ukraine. The guy with the president of Ukraine right now, he was just a comedian. But again, it
Mr.
depends on who is in power and what
Yeah,
the will of that particular person.
Mr. Weir, let me ask Mr. Maolo a question, but with an example, okay? Because I think I want to assume that you understand the question he's asking. Now,
I understand the question.
let me give you an example. Let me give you an example and see whether that question will still be relative. Now, if you were to, let's say you watch football, right? If we have a penalty kick right now, no one will know about or Liberia President George Weah, given their experience, their career, whatever they did for their career. If you have a penalty to take, a crucial penalty, George Weah and Sierra Leone President, who you picking?
That is relative too, because it's not football. Because
I said football. You have a
football. Let's deal with
We're talking about football. We're talking about football. On a football field, you have a crucial penalty. Crucial penalty. George Weah and Sierra Leone President, who you picking to kick that penalty?
Who are picking to kick that penalty?
Yeah, who you gonna take to kick that penalty? Based on what you know,
the two of them are president.
The two president.
But the question, the reason why I don't want to answer that question directly, because you try to make a connection of something that are two different things.
I'm asking you on this
because what they want to draw on is that Combin has international experience. The same experience, the same salary high, you have all the connection.
No, I'm talking about what people say. I'm talking about what is true. What is
true of them out there?
What is in black and white? The people say George Weah high experience. They say Ellen high experience. They say listen, you want to compare the experience. Let me tell you the difference between the experience. The position coming here, Ellen was not half of it when she worked in the West. She was not half. So you can't compare the experiences.
The difference
you can't compare it with George Weah experiences because George Weah had no experience but playing football.
Yeah,
so we're talking about real experience that you can verify.
Here is my point. I want you to understand it. You see, welcoming work, it was a developed world that was structured. You work in the structure that was already put in place. Liberia is a structure that needs complete overhaul.
So you can work on remote control?
So
the place you're working right now, job weekend, if they didn't have CEO or manager, you think it will work the way it's working?
No, it will not work.
Why?
And I believe that Congress is a good manager. That's my point.
Okay, you argue up.
I believe that Congress is a good manager.
Mr. Weah will defend the guy to the core.
No, they're not defending that. They're dodging.
No, it's not dodging. Congress is a good manager. You see, you are making comparison with coming work in the West. It's like me right now. You see?
No. You see,
I just give you an example.
You know why
I work for the social services here.
You know why I'm comparing that? It's because the same mistake we continue to make, right? You, as much patriotic as you say you are, you cannot admit that somebody has far more clout and experience than your man, just because that is man you want. You see, if you told me, say you put George Weah and coming on the football field, I will tell you we're all thinking that George Weah. And you told me
that's the point I was trying to drive.
If you told me you put Cummings with Gonglo on the law, it would be Gonglo. But when you talk about administrative and economic powers,
I understand all the logic you're trying to make. I understand all that logic.
Exactly, but then why you can't answer it?
The reason why I can tell you yes or no is this, because we are talking about a country that is devastated, a country that has a lot of people confused about so many things, a country that don't believe in the functioning of a structure.
Let me tell you this much here. I don't know what you studied in school, but when you go to study in school, do they teach you so you can go work to a particular place?
For example, to be president.
No.
Okay. Did I give you the general idea and you
Of
apply
course.
yourself when you get there, right?
That's correct. And that
Okay,
was my.
so this idea that you keep on pushing. Oh, the person they were working in the corporate world. Oh, the person they were working in government. Does that make any logic to you, knowing how people are being taught in school?
But that exactly my point here, and that is why I refuse to say because Mr. Cummings was doing it, it will work in that way. I can give
No, you know what? Why I gave that comparison?
no.
Because we're talking about, okay, like where you work right now, right? You work there. I don't know how long you've been working there. They know you there. If I go there today, I don't care what experience I got, they trust you more.
That's true, yeah.
Exactly. What I'm comparing you here with is a man who has worked with the people for 40 years and somebody who coming to beg them. Who you think they will trust more?
And this is where if you use the word big.
But you coming to beg because they don't know you. You don't know them. You just coming to ask them for help.
But
I'm talking about somebody who is friends with them.
No, you are. They say why you are mistaken is that the people will not just chunk money to Liberia because Cummings is a president.
Nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying that. What I'm saying that if you and him go stand up in front of them, they listen to him more. When Cummings come here, right? I'm telling you, they say they send limousine to the airport for him. The white chauffeur driving around until he ready to leave. Does Gongo enjoy that scene? Does Gongo enjoy the scene?
I know that Gongo went to Golden State Warrior game. You can talk about that.
But no. You see the mistake you are making. The mistake you are making. That connection you are making. Those in the jungle districts, they can't make that connection that you are making.
But jungle district people don't run the government. But that's a lie. You let it tell them. They got no idea on how the government run.
And that is why I don't want to agree.
They benefit from the government. They don't run the government. They got no idea. I don't care how you explain it to them. So let's take them out of this thing and talk about the people who really run the government.
What I'm saying, I think the problem we have in Liberia, we should all agree that we have had people who rule Liberia that have connection here in the United States.
Yeah, the connection and the scene.
Yes, but here's my point.
Mm-hmm.
The point boils down to patriotism.
Exactly.
The point boils down to...
Let's say all things being equal, right? Mm-hmm. They equally patriotic. They equally want to build a country. What I'm saying, if two of them can stand in front of the people, who you think they will trust more?
That's the question. That's the question that is relative.
Is it? How is that?
It's relative. Because the point here is that because I believe because the American people,
that you hear what he said, all things equal.
Yes.
But did you hear? I'm trying. He's trying to remove that relativism in this thing. So all things equal.
Before?
Yes, he worked for the UN.
Where?
What did he do for the UN?
He worked for the UN. I forgot to about but he worked for the UN. He worked for the UN before. Yes.
Where?
He was outside the country before.
I'm talking about vision now. I'm talking about vision.
Because
all the thing you explaining to me is so small. It can't be like somebody who has seen better.
No. If you were to say that, you see, and that is why I said America does not have permanent friends. They have interests. And the way I understand this government.
Why you think Joe we are then send our interest? Why you think Joe we are then can't get anything other than?
But I said because Joe Weir does not put any structure in place that is working. Just we are maintaining the failing structure that is in place. But the United States government is willing to work with anybody, any president from day one who is willing to do the right thing, who is transparent.
Right? Why is the right thing?
Number one, rule of law, accountability, transparency.
Okay, so if I don't tell one Gonglo, they want to expand. Why you was it?
Ask the question again.
If Firestone tell the one Gonglo that they want to expand their rubber plantation, what he will say?
What would Gonglo say? I can't speak for Gonglo on that.
And
Guys,
what would you advise him to say?
why would you?
Well, no, in my opinion,
advice is not free, right?
in my opinion, if we were to go back to square one, I would allow for the rubber to be processed in Liberia at this time.
No, I'm talking about square one. I'm talking
It's
about where we
expansion.
are.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If
Right now, if they told
if I were-
President
if I were
Bongo
part-
they
if
want
I
to
were-
expand, how will you advise him?
if I were part of that negotiation, my advice would be right now, for too long, we have produced raw material. It is time for Liberia to start producing things out of the rubber in Liberia. That is, we should start manufacturing, we should be able to produce things out of the rubber itself. That will be my
We
advice.
say we're not ready to do that now, but we want to expand. What would you say?
Well,
Well,
guys,
it's a negotiation, yeah.
guys, we thank you guys so much. We have had this discussion enough. And if you're watching us, this is the Hard Zone. That's what we're about. There's no gimmick, no fluff, just real talk. But before we wrap up on this roundtable discussion, let's move away from the Taiwan Congo camp. And let's talk briefly because we're out of time. I would just like to get you guys' opinion on this. CDC shifted their campaign gear and last week, as we know it. They launched their primary. But the finance minister said on one of his radio appearances that the CDC government has alleviated poverty for over 27,000 Liberians. Now, this is one of the campaign messages coming from those that are participating in the elections or running for offices. What do you make of the finance minister's statement? Do you think that is accurate? Does that reflect in the day-to-day lives of the Liberian people? So let me get your opinion on that briefly, and then we will take a break and come back while I speak around. Let me start with you. You've talked a lot, Mr. Jawinkin. So let me start with you, Mr. J. Mawolo. Talk to us about the finance minister's statement.
Well, everybody is aware of the voodoo economics that Twitter brings out all the time. And did he show any data on that 27,000 that they took out of poverty? Did he show any data? For people to talk is cheap. Is there any data to show that Liberia has improved anyway economically? You know, the 27,000 people out of poverty is like giving LU free education and cutting their budget that they had when the education was not free. Are you really serious to give free education when you're cutting the budget worse than it was when it wasn't free? You know, I mean, anybody who believes toward economics is wasting their time because he's not serious. He just say things that he think people want to hear. It was the same to who said they went down water nickel time and giving money to money changer them. You know what? Look, the fact that Eugene Nangwe and Tue took off their time to consider on ERBC to justify the goods of their government. What happened to their information minister?
You were busy.
They don't have no work to do. No, or they don't know their job description. Why do you think they send them to can't justify what the government had done? You know why? Because they have classified them as two of the mafias ministers or head of the cabinets who can talk and conjure the unsuspecting masses, if I may. So these people got no facts. It's all talk. It's all talk. And they like to say, oh, World Bank report. World Bank report data is based on what you give them. World Bank is not there
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but let me just get Mr. Jawinkin here because we are like badly over time. So I'm sorry to cut you off, but
no problem.
Let me take you, Mr. Weir. Just talk to us briefly on the on the finance minister's statement.
Well, I think it's a joke because there is no statistics that they have anything to show for it. How many people were unemployed and how many they employed under the we are government now? What are the opportunities they create for the youth that are in the street? So for anybody to say they did better for the Liberian people when the street is still crowded with millions of children, thousands of children in the street on motorbike, so that is a false news, in my opinion.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ja Winking. We are into you too, Mr. J. Maulo. And just on that development, my only question would be, where are those 27,000 people? Where are the most of them? Are they in Mozzarella County or in other counties? Because, like you guys said,
I
there's
heard
no
somebody
data.
trying to explain. They say if you get one person job, they supporting their family then. So all
So
the
that's
one
what
they
I want
included
to.
in a number.
But where is the job in the first place?
I have a lot of funny story on just listening to the people that call in to support the finance minister. It's just interesting to hear people defending that. But that's a story for another day, guys. Thank you so much for your contribution on this round. If you're watching us, this is the Horizon. My name is Derek Alley. Let's take a very brief break. When we come back, we'll bring you our icebreaker round and our panelist closing remark on this episode. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Martha Tomle, owner of Matisia Natural Hair Salon, located on 4405 Chestnut Street. We are specializing in locks, natural hair, braids, and etc. Call us for all your natural hair needs. You can reach out at 267-703-2330. If you have pictures or videos you want to send us, you can send it to 267-224-0693.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're watching us from. Thank you so much for staying with us to this far on the show. We are almost at the end. We just have to bring you our icebreaker segment, and then we will get closing comments from our panelists. But before, like always, I'd like to urge you to please leave us your contribution on the icebreaker round in the comment section. And also, if any feedback you have on the show, please make sure to email the network, that is LRTN, or just leave it in the comment section. We'll make sure to address those feedback as they come. But for now, let's have our panelists back on the screen and we'll read out our icebreaker round. And the question for the icebreaker round, given the fact that Father's Day was just around the corner, in honor of Father's Day, what are some ways you've tried to leave a positive impact on young people in your family or community? In honor of Father's Day, what are some ways you have tried to leave a positive impact on young people in your family or community? So let me take you first, Mr. Ja Winking Weir. Talk to us on our icebreaker question. What have you done to leave a positive impact on young people in your family or community?
Well, what I did do was that after we young Liberians who were gathered somewhere in the house, and I told them because of their age, I told them the story where for some of us that were born in the jungle district, in the jungle villages, the opportunity we never had it. So for their parents to struggle to bring them here, don't think about anything, or was a good day, so they should really appreciate that their parents came here, struggle, and then forget about them and go with them. So they themselves should think about people. They should not misuse the opportunity here. They should not think that because they are here, so other people that are back there, they should try to set an example for their children that they were born, because for their being here, it was based on the sacrifices of their parents.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Ja Winking. We are now, let's take you, Mr. J. Mawolo.
Well, it's all about the way. Are you talking about the specific day or how it's been?
Just in honor of Father's Day, what are some ways you have tried to leave a
Okay.
positive impact on young people in your family or
Well,
community?
I think it's all about, the way you carry yourself, the way you show respect, the way you teach them to respect others, you know, hard work, those kind of things. Because whether you know it or not, they're watching you. So you always got to have that in the back of your mind. The way you speak, the way you act, the way you treat other people, to be kind to people, to never overlook people or think themselves better than other people. And then one other thing is to make sure that they know God. Because after all, after everything else fails, is you and God. And so that has to be principle. You can't forget that. I think that's the best you can do. And as long as that foundation is set, I think they can face anything else in life.
Thank you very much, Mr. J. Mawolo and Mr. Ja Winkin Weir for your contribution on the icebreaker round. And if I can add in my 2 cents, everything that you guys said, I personally grew up with my grandmother. She do not have any secondary education, but she taught us. I mean, the other grandchildren, she had two things. One is to always have the desire to learn, and she, like you said, Mr. Mawolo, she taught us to learn and to know about God, to have a relationship with Him. So I think that has literally carried me through my entire young life, to always pursue education and to always have a personal relationship with God. So personally, that's the impact I try to leave on people that are much younger than me. And I always tell my little siblings, you will have to personally want to have that desire to learn, to always be in the position to learn, and to always take care of your spirituality, have and believe in something and stick to it. Believe in there's a higher force above all of us. Believe in that and try to develop your own relationship with God, because just as we all have physical needs, we do have spiritual ones as well. So I always try to leave that to people that are much younger than me. But then again, thank you guys so much for your contribution on this icebreaker wrap. So now we'll come to you, Mr. Weir, so you can give us your closing remark on this episode, and then I will take you next, Mr. Mawolo.
Okay, thank you, Derek. Thank you, Mr. Mauro. My fellow Liberians, thank you for listening wherever you are. Liberia is for all Liberians. And we have a system in place that allow us to check those that were put in charge of the country. And that system is what we call the elections. That means that people we put in power, they are working for us. We have an election to make sure that whether the time we give them, they did what we say we wanted them to do. So October 10 is another time to grade the people who put in power, the we are government. Have they done what you elected them for? Has your life improved on that we are? Has your expectation been met? God will not come from heaven to improve our country. It is ourselves. Do not be satisfied from somebody giving you hands out, giving you money. That is not the purpose of your freedom. Your freedom is to have the opportunity to make your own money, to learn, to achieve your dream, to utilize what God gave you without anybody telling you what to do. And the reason why we have a lot of problem in Liberia is because we don't have rule of law in our country. Those we put in power continuously believe that they are above the law, including the use of our money, the resources. They do it and they use it anyhow, thinking that because they are above the law. That is wrong. It is not true. Article 1 of the Constitution says the people you elect are your servant, and the purpose for electing them is to serve for your protection and satisfaction. So if you are not satisfied, this election that coming, you need to make a change. You need to punish them by voting for somebody else. Then they will know that you are the boss. You are truly the boss. That's why they are running to you now. Don't make the same mistake to put them back again, because if you put them back, they don't care for you. You don't even see them. But here is one guy that will think about you, that will know that you are indeed part of the country. You deserve better. You deserve a chance, a fighting chance to make your own money, to learn, to empower your children. That one person is one Kennedy, the broom man, Tiawonse Gongo. Vote for him. He will truly give you the opportunity to realize the purpose of the formation of Liberia. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ja Winkin Weir, for your contribution here on this episode tonight. And you being a consistent panelist here on the Horizon. But for now, let's take you, Mr. Jim Mawolo. Give us your closing remark.
All right. I want to say thank you to all of you for giving us the opportunity again to express to you our thoughts on who we think can be the best for our country and to move us forward. Listen, this notion that we have made ourselves believe in our country, our president must have come from poverty. He must know how to sleep on the ground and all of that. That's the biggest lie anybody can tell themselves. None of that has anything to do with the presidency. In fact, people who have been there have proven time and again that when they get the opportunity to live a better life, they forget those who were there with them. Example is right now, George Weah and all the people that were working with him. The speaker was making block in Minnesota. He was working the block factory. He there now, and we see. The other finance minister was driving truck. He there now, and we see. And all of them come from those same backgrounds. Where has it been proven? That poor people took other poor people out of poverty? Nowhere. It was always people who were well off, who saw it as unfair to other people that they can be so poor and help them out of their situation. So the lies that people tell about who were poor and who were not poor and who were toting stuff on their head got nothing to do with the presidency. Besides, they always like to talk about the people in the village. The people in the village don't run nothing. The people in the village don't know how governments are run. They don't care. All they want is their needs must be met. And to meet their needs, you need the best, smartest, most educated people. You don't need the least of anything. And that's why we don't get what we need, because we're always sending the mediocre ones. When we send the best, we will get the best. When we send people with low vision and small vision, we will get nothing. Because you got to understand that you deserve better to want more. If you just satisfy with at least, that's what you get, at least. And over time and time again, we have settled for nothing. We have settled to be the least. We have settled for at least. This time around, we say, you deserve better. You can do better. You deserve more. You must have a big vision, a big dream. Your country is too rich for you to be so poor. Liberia is not a poor country. That's a false notion to think that Liberia is poor. Liberia is one of the few countries under this heaven that has every kind of natural resource you can think about in the world. We haven't exploited the knowledge enough to know what we're worth. And so Chinese people are digging black sand in Liberia, where they only got two countries in West Africa that got it, and Liberia is one. That sand is what they use to make glass. Do you know we used to make glass in Liberia? No. But the Chinese people are now digging it out for nothing and taking it. All of these things we got, we don't make use of them because we lack knowledge. We lack the vision, and we can do better. And so for this, we bring to you two people who have succeeded not only in Liberia, but outside Liberia, who have stood head to head with the best in the world and succeeded. Why shouldn't we send the best out there to represent us? They have proven to the white man that they equally as qualified. They have proven to our people that they equally as qualified. So there is no competition out there that they can't stand. They go out there and represent you every day. You see from their personal life how successful they have become. These are the people we want to send out there to represent our country again. Once upon a time, when Liberia spoke, the world stood up. We have let ourselves fall from grace to grace. Now it's about time we rise again. So we present to you the best in the race. And that's hands down. His record is there written in black and white. You can go and read it and research it and inspect it and turn it head up, head down, upside down. You will find nothing but success. The same with the vice presidential candidate Charlene Bromskin. And you can check their records in and out. All they have is success. This is the picture we want to send out there to the world. These are the people we want to send out there to speak for you and to bring in the bread so that you too, in the village or in the city, educated or uneducated, rich or poor, can enjoy your country so that we don't run from our country again, we run to our country. This is the fight we're on, and we ask you to join us. We're asking for your vote this October 10th. We're asking that you vote for the CPP and let nobody tell you that CPP is not on the ballot. Alexander Cummings and Charlene Bromskin are the standard bearer and vice standard bearer of the CPP, and it will be CPP on the ballot and not ANC or LP. Let nobody fool you about that. It will be CPP on the ballot, and Alexander Cummings and Charlene Bromskin will be representing the CPP. Vote for CPP on your ballot on October 10th. Anybody telling you otherwise, tell them they're a liar, they're a thief, and they should stay away from you. Vote for your future, vote for your children's future, vote for Liberia's future, and let's help Liberia to rise again. Thank you, and gentlemen, thank you for a good evening.
Thank you very much, Mr. J. Mawolo, for your contribution here tonight on the Horizon. And also again to you, Mr. Ja Winkin Wia, and to all of you watching us, wherever you're watching us from. So we will bring you our announcement after the break, and then after that, we will draw the curtain to this episode. But again, guys, thank you always for your contribution. So we'll take a brief break, and we'll come back. You guys wouldn't be here. I will bring the announcement, and then I will draw the curtain to this one. But again, thank you guys very much. Welcome back, guys. You're still here on the Liberia Radio and Television Network. My name is Derek Galley on episode 11, season 3 of the Horizon. And thank you for staying with us this far on the Horizon tonight. And we are at the very end of the show. We just have our announcement left, and then we will bring an end to this episode. So I will get right into reading the announcement we have here in our announcement folder, beginning with the CPP USA convention that is to be held in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and the date is June 30th to July 1st. So that is the Fixer 1 and Fixer 2 or CPP USA convention in Philadelphia. And I also have let me make the announcement that this network will be there to bring you live coverage of that convention. So do yourself a favor right now, like the page, follow the network, share the network on to your friends and family so that they will not miss anything at the CPP USA convention. So those of you that are supporting or sympathizing with the CPP, and all of you that are interested in that event, follow the Liberian Radio and Television Network to get you a live, clear, quality sound from that event. So that's it for that event. The next one we have here is the World Refugee Day Parade, the multicultural community celebration, and the date is June 24th, 2023. So that is Saturday. And the parade will begin at 9:30 a.m. and will go up to 10 a.m. from Clarkston Community Center. And between 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. is the Celebration International Market and a Refuge Coffee. So if you're interested in that, World Refugee Day, you can join them on the 24th of June, Saturday, 2023, 24th of June 2023 on a Saturday. The next announcement we have here, which is the last one, is if you're a fan of soccer or football, and you should be preparing yourself for the Philadelphia County Meet. So Philadelphia own county meet will begin this month on the 23rd and will last up to the 24th. So the counties are as follow in Group A: Grand Jide, Babolo, and Grand Crew. In Group B, Lofa County, Maserado County, Maryland. Group C, Grand Bassa County, Bummy, Grand Kidmat. Group D, Nimba County, River G, Margibi County. So these matches will be played on different stadiums, from Bartram Stadium to Smith Playground. Yeah, Bartram Stadium and Smith Playground are the only two facilities that I'm seeing here. So whatever county you're from, come to support your county in the Philadelphia County Sports Meet. So I will be cheering Riverside and Grand Bassa County on. But again, June 23rd and 24th is the day you have to cheer your county in the Philadelphia County Meet. That's all we have here from our announcement folder. Again, guys, thank you so much. We have one more episode left for this season to be over, and we will get to our next season. But until then, let me bid all of you. Before I do that, let me say thank you so much for supporting us. Thank you for always being here to make sure that this program is a success, and we will stay committed to bringing you quality content. Until our next episode, my name is Derek Yale, and let me bid you a pleasant good night.
I'm feeling the vibes with originalhits.com.
It's your boy Stanley, baby. Oh yeah, oh my God, no, baby girl, what you want, baby girl, I'ma give you love, I'ma give you love. Tell me, girl, what you need, baby. I'ma give you love, girl, I'ma give you love. Girl, I don't smoke cannabis, girl, I don't hide, I don't smoke everything. Girl, your loving be medicine, baby, your lover. Girl, I don't smoke cannabis, girl, I don't hide, I don't drink anything. Baby, your loving be medicine, baby, your love. Give me loving every day, through the night and through the day. For your loving I will pay, 'cause you be my baby. like all the time. You keep running, 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 running through my mind, like all the time. Girl, I don't smoke cannabis, girl, I don't hide, I don't smoke everything. Girl, your loving be medicine, baby, your lover. Girl, I don't smoke cannabis, girl, I don't hide, I don't drink anything. Baby, oh, medicine, baby, your love.
Girl, too many girls in my bosom. Me wanna ease on and lease on. They can't let my talk cause I am so. Money in my pocket when I am so.